City of Northglenn, Channel 8, keeping you informed of events in your community.
Ready? Yes, we are ready. Okay. I'd like to call the regular city council meeting to order. Joanna, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Downing.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dodge.
Here.
Councilmember Snetzinger. Councilmember Mollica.
Here.
Councilmember Sowers.
Here.
Councilmember Joe Brown will be absent. Councilmember Becky Brown will be absent. Councilmember Whitman.
Here.
Councilmember Escabel.
Here.
Thank you. Would you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Are there any agenda additions or deletions? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move right on to presentations, and that will be Debbie.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Quick update, you've got my economic development report. We're pleased to say that Albertsons is going to be doing a major renovation, which is great. They're going to be doing exterior, but mostly interior. So just about every department is going to be upgraded and expanded. So that's really nice. They've got their building plans in right now, so we expect them to start construction within the next couple months, and it should take about 4 months to get it completed. So I think that'll be a great addition to the grocery store. Wanted you to know, if you haven't put in your vote, I think I mentioned this last month, the People's Choice Award. Please put in your votes. We're getting them. It'll close on September 10th. Last Friday, we did have a committee meeting to actually do all the nominations for all of the other awards. So stay tuned to that. We had a lot of ribbon cuttings. Thank you very much for coming to the Mattress Mart and the Quest Diagnostics. That was in July. We had one last Friday, Storm Guard. They had quite the turnout there, probably 50, 75 people. It was great. And they're in Office Plaza South. Coming up, I just wanted to bring to your attention Ashley Manor on August 25th between 2:30 and 6. They're having an open house for the public. So if you know people that are interested, please invite them. They're going to be doing tours of the facility. It's really nicely done. And they're going to have food and entertainment. They've got a swing band coming, so it should be quite the day to go and enjoy some time. They're right next to TH Automotive on Irma Drive. And then on Friday, this Friday, encourage all of you to come to this. The Independent Electrical Contractors, Rocky Mountain, is doing their ribbon cutting and open house. And I've been in there, and it used to be an old bowling alley, if you all recall, and then Comfy Canine. And now you won't believe the improvements they've made. So please come to that if you haven't already RSVP'd. Also, Core Progressions is having their grand opening and ribbon cutting on August 20th. And that is a $1 million project. So they were over in the Irma Business Park, startup company, fitness, and they've actually spun off 3 more companies with Core Progression, and they bought the North Star building. So a great success story of a startup company growing. And also in my packet, you saw that the Best of the Best that was done by the Colorado Community Media, which was the publisher for Northglenn Sentinel. Northglenn actually ranked in 36 categories of all of those, and 25 businesses of Northglenn were recognized, some of them several times within the categories. And then also E.B. Rains Park is being the best park in Northglenn and Thornton area, so that was nice. New businesses, just wanted to tell you, Centura Health, if you've gone down here on Center, you've seen some really big new signs there. They purchased the former Complete Family Care. So the actual practice was purchased by Centura, so it's the same amount of space, but a new owner and new operators. NERA updates, as you can see, we had 2 business grants that we approved. I announced this at the last meeting, but Malley Center has been put on hold. PAR acquisitions, because of other financial obligations that they've had to do on upgrades already on their property, wasn't able to contribute toward the project at this time. And Stephen Stokes is doing us a great favor. On August 23rd, he's helping us with our Lunch and Learn. And it's going to be how to build a marketing machine. As you know, he's really good at that. He understands the importance of creating databases and using social media. So we're hoping that'll really help our companies as well. Any questions?
Questions? Marcy?
Just a comment. One of the other cool things about having Core Progression take over that building is it's giving an opportunity to some of our Northglenn businesses that did have to close to be able to come back. Chime Yoga Studio, it now has an opportunity to be able to come back and use this space for their classes. So it's really exciting that they were
That's
able
great.
to make that building
Yeah,
happen.
because they have a yoga studio in there, they have a physical therapist in there, they have a chiropractor in there, and then also they have a masseuse that is there too. So that's great. It's good to know.
Carol?
I just wanted to add on the Albertsons remodel. It's long overdue, but the one at 104th in Colorado, which I frequent a lot because it's right by my home, is undergoing the same thing, and actually it's almost finished. And it is amazing. It's night and day compared to what it was, and so if they can do what they're doing there, it's going to be great. And the manager said that they just have done it because they've neglected them for so long, which they have, because the one where I shop was also looking like the one right here in Northglenn. So anyway, that is such a great thing. So
Great.
Anyone else? Yeah, Kyle?
I just want to see if maybe we can give the residents an update on what's going on with the landscaping on 104th and I-25, if we're still
Sure.
on schedule or
Yeah.
where that's at.
So where it's at right now is there was a few little glitches in where the electrical and the water was going to be tied in. We've resolved those problems now. The plans are going to be should be getting ready to go to the city, the Planning Department, Public Works for their review, and CDOT by the end of this week is what I'm told. So as long as everybody does what they're planning to do and there's no other glitches in it, we will actually go out for the request for proposal right after that. So everything is done like 99% right now. It's truly getting, they just had to redesign where the water was and where the electrical was.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. Thank you, Debbie. Next is public eye to be heard, 5 minutes per speaker. Is there anyone who would like to speak to council? No? Okay. Seeing no one approach, we will move to the financial report. Jason?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is the second quarter of 2016 monthly financial report. Got a presentation up on the screen for you. I'll start off with an update on sales and use tax through the year. If you can see the kind of light green bar, I guess, it's going across on the line graph, you'll see that 2016 has been a good year so far. We're consistently doing well month over month. Total sales and use tax is up 6.7% when you compare it to the prior year, which is outstanding. I think some of our counterparts in the neighboring areas are seeing slightly less than what we're seeing at 6.7%. So positive things going on in Northglenn specifically, and through the metro area. But I think that we're doing well here in town. A few of the specifics behind those underlying numbers. We haven't talked about the marijuana tax this year. That's up 7% through June. Our auto sales use tax is up 3.9%, and then food tax is up 5%. So everything kind of hovering around 5 to 7%. So some good business dealings, I guess, in our boundaries. So all positive news. If you look last year, I took a look just to compare where we were. We were up like 12.4% last year at the same time. Part of that was with the new tax specifically to marijuana, plus some things opening year over year at the Webster Lake. So if anyone would look at prior years, that would be why we're half of kind of what we were, but we're still doing quite well. I'll start off with our largest operating fund, the general fund. And as you can see, this report really just shows how we're doing versus collecting against the budget for year-to-date actuals. Total revenues collection rate is at 44%. That's typical if you look over prior year trends, that 43 to 45% is where we tend to be midway through the year. We'll collect more on the taxes later in the year during the holiday season. The total expenditures, spending rate is at 43%, also consistent. So you'll see in the second column, net change in fund balance of $945,000. So that is a positive number showing that total revenues are at 10.9 and then total expenditures are about 9.9, giving us that change in fund balance. So if the year ended at the end of June, our ending fund balance would be, roughly $20.5 million in the fund. Is there any questions on this slide or the more detailed packet that you guys get on a monthly basis regarding general fund revenues or expenditures?
Questions? Go ahead.
I will point out on the expenditure report on page 3 of not the slideshow, but of the other report, expenditures are down about 4%, and most of that is one-time expenditures. There's a couple of departments that you'll notice that have, negative spending versus the prior year, and that's basically off of vehicle purchases or large one-time studies that were done in the prior year. So just wanted to point that out. If you look at year-over-year spending, it shows that we're down about 4%, and that's the reason why. I'll move on to the other governmental funds, conservation trust, and capital projects. The Conservation Trust Fund lottery proceed revenue is at $239,000. Expenditures are at $15,000. You'll see that we budgeted over $1 million in expenditures. That's one project at Northwest Open Space, and that project should be being studied and evaluated as we go through the fall. The Capital Projects Fund, total revenues are at $2.6 million with expenditures of just under $700,000. You'll see expenditures budgeted were $7.5 million, and we're just at 9% being spent midway through the year. The change in fund balance is $1.9 million as of June, and so that Capital Projects Fund would have a fund balance of about $14.3 million at this point through the year. And then again, there's a detailed capital projects list in our regular monthly packet if you have any questions on any of those. Our utility fund, water and wastewater, total revenues are at $5.4 million with expenditures of about $4.6 for a change in fund balance of roughly $800,000 to the positive. Again, you'll see revenues collection to date is at 38%, which is typical midway through the summer months of the heavy watering season. Expenditures, all are falling in line. Again, you'll see the capital outlay, the largest budget line of $11.8 million and spending about $700,000 or about 6% of that budget. Obviously, we have a large headworks project at the wastewater plant, so that will soon be absorbed when those bills start to roll in. The other enterprise funds, smaller scale, the stormwater fund revenues are at $190,000, expenditures at $60,000. Both of these are falling in line with budget and prior year expectations. Sanitation fund revenue $722,000 and expenditures of $873,000. Again, sanitation fund, those expenditures are sanitation vehicles, which are a large capital item in the fund. Again, collection and spending rates in accordance with budget and prior years. And with that, I can answer any questions you might have on the slide deck or the report itself if you guys have any.
Okay, questions? Yes.
Jason, on the marketplace sales tax history, I think it's great because 2016 still shows higher numbers than 2015, which I'm amazed with the amount of businesses that we've lost in there, but can you attribute that to like Texas Roadhouse? I mean, I'm trying to think of what's the big tax earner in there, and that's kind of what comes to my mind, so.
It's interesting, we kind of look at those things regularly to see if there's any one standout, facility. And really, there hasn't been any one standout in a lot of our areas. That restaurant does help significantly. They're definitely a top taxpayer and one of our top businesses. I know that Sports Authority, through their liquidation, actually had some significant returns, and I'm not sure if those were reflected possibly in May and in the following month. Their liquidation sales were significant in comparison to what they had done the last few summers. So we're actually, we're up at 6.7% for our sales and use tax overall, and I'm projecting that to drop to 5 or maybe below by year end, based off of some of the things that are going on. And that's pretty typical throughout the state, that everyone's kind of expecting a little bit of a tail off through the year. And I think as some of our newer businesses from the prior years kind of settle back, the newness, I guess, if you will, potentially wears off, I guess, when there's more options in the area to dine and shop and things like that, will affect that as well. And if you look at like CPI, so consumer price for the area, it's 1.7, 1.9%. So to have really no necessarily new growth to be seeing 5% returns is really actually quite good. So
It's just a good progression that it takes every month, so I hope it keeps up. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything, I'll jinx it, but.
yeah, no, it's
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Jason.
great. Thank you.
Next is the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Please open the vote.
Vote is open. I'll close that vote, and the consent agenda passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next is ordinances first reading. Joanna?
This is for CB 1870, a bill for an ordinance amending Section 16-3-9, subsection A of the Northglenn Municipal Code regarding storm drainage plans.
Move to approve.
Second.
Jim?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Long story short, this memo comes down to one word that we need to change in our ordinance. But in 2011, we had a revised ordinance related to the MS4 permit through the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. And unfortunately, the one word is in contradiction with our MS4 permit. Specifically, it requires all development and redevelopment, both greater than and less than 1 acre, to submit and obtain an approval on a post-construction or permanent stormwater quantity and quality controls. Specifically, we had an oversight there, and during the drafting the ordinance, the word "not" was incorrectly used in this specific section. So we do need to require that, so we just need to take the word "not" out. So we recommend approval of the ordinance.
Thank you. Discussion? Hearing none, please open the vote.
Vote is open.
Please vote.
I'll close that vote, and CB 1870 on first reading passes unanimously. And I would like to note for the record that the public hearing on CB 1870 will be heard on August 22nd, 2016, here in City Hall Council Chambers.
Thank you. Next is resolutions, and the first one is CR 85. Joanna?
A resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Northglenn and the Adams County School District Number 12 for a joint school resource officer program.
Move to approve.
Second.
Jim?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. We recommend approval of this resolution, which authorizes the mayor to sign an IGA between the City of Northglenn and the Adams County 5-Star School District. Provides for one school resource officer at Northglenn High School, one at Vantage Point High School, as well as Crossroads Middle School, and then one SRO at Northglenn Middle School for the upcoming school year. And the budget and cost sharing is outlined in the memo as well.
Okay, thank you. Discussion? Hearing none, please open the vote.
Vote is open.
Please vote.
I'll close that vote, and CR 85 passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next, we'll move to communications. Antonio.
I don't have anything, thank you. Blessed, happy to be here.
Yes. Marcy.
Just a couple of things. So just wanted to thank all the residents that participated in National Night Out last week, and way to go for Ward 3, who had 10 parties. The rain definitely put a damper on some of the parties. It was a little wet, but I do appreciate everyone that hosted. And Pam Smith from Anythink Libraries joined me for a couple of the parties just to kind of share some new things that are happening with the Anythink Libraries. And then I also wanted to give a big thanks to the community on behalf of the Northglenn Community Foundation. We have been collecting backpacks and school supplies to take to a precious child, and last Thursday, the board of NCF stuffed all those bags, and we were able to stuff 85 bags full of supplies for kids all the way up to, I think it's grade 8. So we were able to take those over there, and because of all the fundraising activities that NCF has been able to participate in, thanks to the city, we were able to provide 48 bags and supplies ourselves. So I just want to thank everyone for donating, and I believe you can donate up until the 12th, so get your stuff in. That's it.
Thank you.
I would also like to echo Marcy on National Night Out. Thank you to all the hosts of the parties. They were great. My Commander Rosencrantz was a terrific chauffeur and cohort, so a good time was had at every party that we stopped at, so it was nice. And I would like to remind people that tomorrow night is the last concert in the park. It shall be the Mary Louise Lee Band, which is a combo of R&B, jazz, and soul. And I'm working at the Beer Garden, so if you want to say hi, stop by for the NAHF to raise funds, and it will start at 6:30 on Wednesday. And that's it.
Okay, great. I also attended the National Night Out, and it's always wonderful, and everyone just has a great time. So I was worried that the weather would probably do something to really, but it didn't. I mean, they just all hovered under the garages or tents, and it was really good. So looking forward to that in the year. The other thing I just wanted to mention that I attended, let's see here, I always get this wrong, let's see, I attended a brunch for a youth, helping young ladies with self-esteem, and it was called Shimmer, Sparkle, and Shine Project. And our own Sierra actually founded this program, and it's doing wonderful. So I just thought I'd bring that up. And if anybody has any teen girls that would like to take part in these programs, they have workshops continually. So I would encourage them. They can contact me, and I'll get you in touch with them. So.
Yeah, I just want to echo what everyone said on National Night Out. It was fun, my first year partaking in the festivities, and a lot of parties around in the area. Another thing is Friday is the Goonies. If you're free, so come out to the park.
The Goonies.
The Goonies.
I also participated in National Night Out. I thought it was great going around talking to all the residents and just getting to know them a little better. Logan really enjoyed all the desserts that he was just getting fed, so that's the first time Julie will hear about that, so we'll see. I think that's it. I just want to give a shout out to the chief and MPD as well for what they did on National Night Out. I thought it was a great thing. So,
thank you. Joanna?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Jim?
Did not have a report last Friday, so I won't go over that, but look forward for the next one this Friday. Just wanted to touch on what we're going to be discussing next week at the study session. We're going to have the logo and branding update, 2016 market survey. Paula will be presenting that. We're actually going to talk about legislative policy, and I've arranged for Kevin Baumer from CML to come and attend. As you know, we do pay dues, and they are part of our lobbying team. So he's going to come and join us for part of that, and then we'll have another civic campus update as well. So a very full night next week. That's it, though.
Thank you. Corey?
nothing this evening.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is public invited to be heard, up to 3 minutes per speaker. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to council? I keep getting a no. All right. All right, with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.